The girl was shocked to discover that the poor country husband she had just married was actually eating Australian lobster and king crab for breakfast. But when he came to pick her up for the wedding, he had clearly been driving a shabby tractor. Because of that, her 6 sisters had mocked her for a long time. Each of them had married into wealthy and powerful families, while she had married a pauper. They sneered and laughed, convinced she would spend her whole life eating cheap, simple food. But the girl didn't care at all. She calmly took her husband's hand, unaware that from that moment on, the fate of the 7 sisters would be completely overturned. On their way back to the countryside, the tractor suddenly broke down, and they were still 5 kilometers away from his home. The girl didn't complain at all. Instead, she comforted her husband and suggested they walk. To her, a married couple should face everything together. An hour later, they finally reached home. To her shock, the moment she stepped inside, she saw her husband's family: a seriously ill older brother, a mentally impaired second brother, a disabled mother. The scene stunned her. Her mother-in-law warmly pulled her over, full of guilt, saying the family was poor and she felt sorry that such a good girl had married into hardship. Her husband, afraid the harsh life would scare his wife away, was about to explain, but the girl interrupted him. Not only did she show no disgust, she actually felt sorry for her husband carrying the burden of the whole family alone. She understood his struggles and exhaustion. Then she said seriously that although the house was small, it was clean and well kept. As long as the family stayed united and worked hard together, life would improve. Hearing this, the mother-in-law immediately handed over the household keys to her, announcing that she would be in charge of everything in the family, including all their assets. The girl was deeply moved. Even though the family was struggling, they were willing to entrust her with what little they had. She promised to take good care of it. What she didn't know was that the seemingly ordinary keys actually symbolized control over a fortune worth hundreds of billions. In reality, the mother-in-law had disguised the family as poor to test her character. Even the bride price had been deliberately minimal. Meanwhile, the husband had already decided to tell her the truth as soon as possible, not wanting such a kind and thoughtful wife to feel deceived. The next morning, the girl was shocked again to see a luxurious breakfast of lobster and king crab. She quickly told her mother-in-law not to be so extravagant, worried others might notice. The mother-in-law casually explained that the seafood was a gift from neighbors. Later that night, the husband's secretary rushed over with financial reports, mentioning that the company's revenue had reached $300 billion. The girl happened to overhear. $300 billion? What do you mean? Thinking quickly, the mother-in-law explained that the secretary was just doing poverty relief work in the countryside, and the documents were useless scrap paper for burning. Though the girl felt suspicious, she didn't press further. Instead, she insisted the family didn't need charity. She would find work and improve their lives with her own hands. Despite the family trying to stop her, she had already made up her mind and found a job. The husband felt both touched and heartbroken. Not wanting her to suffer, he secretly arranged for many people to take the flyers she was handing out on the street. When she later worked at a jewelry shop, he quietly had his men buy up all the jewelry she was responsible for selling. Although she found it a bit strange, she simply assumed people there were kind. After work, she gave all the money she earned to the family and even planned to save the rest to renovate the house. Seeing this, the mother-in-law became even more certain she had chosen the right daughter-in-law. That night, after the girl fell asleep, the family gathered to discuss when to reveal the truth. The husband hesitated, afraid she would feel hurt or angry. The secretary suggested taking her to an auction the next day, buying her an expensive gift, and then using that opportunity to explain everything. But early the next morning, the girl unexpectedly went to the hotel hosting the auction to work as a temporary staff member. There, she ran into her older sister and brother-in-law. Her sister immediately started bragging about her wealthy husband and claimed they were staying in the presidential suite. The girl didn't expose her lies and casually went along with it. But in the next moment, her brother-in-law embarrassed her sister in public by revealing they had only booked a cheap restaurant nearby. Just then, the heir of the richest family in the city, the Jiang family, appeared in the hotel lobby, causing a huge commotion. The girl, squeezed in the crowd, had no idea that the highly admired heir was actually her own husband. Meanwhile, her sister and brother-in-law were there hoping to connect with the Jiang family. After learning they were related to his wife, The man ordered his subordinates to invite them into the auction and even promised to gift them whatever they liked in his wife's name. They were overjoyed, thinking they had finally secured a powerful connection. Inside the auction hall, they saw the girl working as a lowly server and looked down on her even more. Her sister mocked her, saying they were all from the same family. Yet she alone had married into poverty and was now reduced to serving tea. The girl defended her husband, but her sister, enraged, slapped her to the ground. This scene was witnessed by the secretary, who immediately informed the Jiang family. Upon hearing their daughter-in-law had been bullied, the entire family rushed over in anger. But the girl wasn't weak. She slapped her sister back. Furious, her sister ordered others to restrain her. During the struggle, the household key fell to the ground. Her sister picked it up and mocked it as a worthless key from a rural shack. The girl begged her to return it, saying it was very important. But her sister refused and threw it aside, forcing her to crawl to retrieve it, completely unaware that she would soon pay a heavy price for her actions. Then the CEO and his family called out his wife's name, and the sister and her husband were shocked.